Hey guys, what's up and welcome to the channel. Today we have an awesome episode in store for you on MadCap exclusive. We are going to meet up with some really dope guys, names that you've seen around the city. We are going to meet up with a close friend of mine, Tower. He's a local graffiti artist, been around forever. Him and his two mates, RIOT and BIAS, we're going to go meet up with them, chat to them, see what pieces they're doing, and just get some cool advice from them. So yeah, let's head out. Tower, take us back to the beginning. When did you first see graffiti and what made you pick up a can and start writing Tower for the first time? I know.
Yeah, I guess I consider myself in the Josie scene, a second gen writer, second generation. I started sort of late 90s, early 2000s, and there were a couple of guys that already started getting up before me. Guys, obviously, like the OG Kuka was one of the key guys. I also noticed a crew MSC in the city back then. There was a guy called God 178 or something that painted a panel that I saw, which was like insane.
Yeah.
God 176, I think it was.
176, yeah.
176. He's like a name. He probably had the first panel in Johannesburg.
Crazy.
And so yeah, I started out, there weren't many people. I kind of first got into graffiti in high school. I met some friends, Tech, Coma, or Resin back in the day, Wise. We were in school together and we kind of started painting a crew called DBS.
Okay.
The Bomb Squad.
Yeah, and Tower, why, what made you come up with Tower as your tag?
There's no real reason behind the name.
Yeah.
It just came to me one day, and I've stuck with that name since the day I started.
Okay, so Tower, has there been any artists that have been a massive influence, first of all, in you and your work now, and presently, are there any artists that you respect and admire in terms of their work?
Yeah, so I guess when I started, there were guys like Jorge. He had a store at Bruma Lake, and I remember my mother used to take me there, and I used to just geek up about at Jorge's IAP stuff. So he was a big one. I also did a lot of the work at Reality, so that was a big inspiration. There was guys like Mantis, also blew my mind back in the day. The techniques that guy did was just like, I saw that shit and I was like, how the fuck do people do it? And then there were guys, there was a Dutch guy that painted in Rudderpoort, of all places, Bender, and behind Westgate, the mall, he had this production there, and it was just him, and he painted these walls there, but he did these characters, and at that time I had not seen graffiti like that in Johannesburg. Full color pieces, and I used to go there every day after school with my mother, and we just used to go sit there and check out the graffiti, and that stuff blew my mind. One other thing I have to mention is Curio. I live close to the train lines, and in Randfontein I grew up there, and in Krugersdorp, whatever, and I used to see this panel running on the R line, and it was a Curio Anthrax panel, and it was the first color panel that I saw on a train, and when I saw that shit I was like, that's the shit.
What do you think younger writers today don't fully understand about the early days of graffiti in Joburg?
I think it's important that if you start, you should maybe just take a bit of time and just get to know a bit more about the history, because like if you know a bit more about the artists from the past or what's been, you can kind of innovate on top of that. So I think the newer guys, I think they should do it their own way. I'm not here to tell people how to paint or how to do it. I'm not going to do that. I just think today is it's a new way of doing things. But I think one of the things you can do is just get to know a bit about the graffiti history in Johannesburg, because it's quite a new scene. It's quite interesting. You'll learn some cool shit and maybe get inspired along the way.
Graffiti has always kind of existed between art and vandalism, you know what I mean? So how do you personally view that relationship, you know what I mean? And has it, or how has it changed your perspective, you know, over the years?
It's a good question, because, you know, when I started out, my main enjoyment was painting trains, panels, and bombing. That's how I started, you know, with BBS and Fuck Crew. We were constantly painting panels, sneaking into train yards, walking around the city late at night. So it was about bombing, it was about illegal graffiti, doing as much as possible, getting up. I love painting panels, it's one of my favorite things to do, but you evolve over time, and now what guides me is not so much to bomb or go paint panels. It's about painting cool pieces with my friends and like kind of expressing it as an art form. So like I consider myself a graffiti artist today, not so much a vandal. But I think both are valid. You need to have that vandal side to you, because that's how you learn.
Carrying on with the question that we had about like influences and oak styles and people that have influenced you over the past, are there any more that have stood out and have made a major impact on you?
Yeah, so like when I started in the late 90s, I actually was playing semi-professional ice hockey, and by chance one of the players that was on my team is actually played for Western Province, and we went on tour together, and he brought a graphitism to my house because he was staying at my house, and it was still graphitism when it was a soft cover magazine, and he started sketching, and he used to paint Topple from the Upfuckers, quite a well-known Cape Town crew, and we instantly became friends, and that's like, that will always stay with me. Shout outs to Topple, the Upfuckers, Cape Town, and then two other guys that had also big impact outside of the guys in my crew. Obviously the crewmates always big impact, but the other guys were Skit and Drone from the Enemy crew. We used to paint together quite a lot when they lived in Joburg. So shout outs, yeah, those guys with their style, they kind of taught me to just be free, try different stuff, don't have to follow the usual rules. So shout outs to Skit and Drone from the Enemy crew.
Going back to that kind of question we asked about the youth these days, and you know, what they need or what they're lacking at the moment, you know, in terms of, you know, from the old style.
Okay, I'll come out tough. I think the new kids are lacking style because they're too scared to try different things. So they like, and it's hard today. I think today it's much harder to start than when we started because we were free. We didn't have to compare ourselves to 3 million other artists. There were a handful of us. There was no Instagram or anything like that. So today the youngsters, I think they're coming out and they're too scared to suck. And I sucked for about 15 years of my career. I think it's only in the last 3 or 4 years that I'm like, okay, I can actually look at the stuff that I'm painting and not vomit. But up until that point, I sucked. And I sucked because I was trying different things, and I wasn't too worried about what the piece looked like. I was more concerned about the practice of the art form, right? And I think that's important. So for new guys out, I would say don't worry about painting shit that's going to get you 1 million likes. Rather focus on doing something that's unique to you. And if you suck for a couple of years, so what?
Joburg has kind of a unique graffiti identity compared to other cities around the world, you know? What do you think makes the Joburg graph scene, you know, so unique and so special?
I think it's the environment. We have different challenges in the city, and I think that helps kind of develop something unique. I also think we're quite a new scene, a baby scene if you compare it to the rest of the world. So I think we're a bit freer than other cities because we still got to develop a style. I think Joburg is on its way to developing a unique style, but I think we still got a way to go. But I do think the bombers, the guys that are out there doing the like super hardcore shit, I think that's definitely like got a Joburg vibe to it, and I really dig it. Like there's some guys out there who are bombing, and I think that's what makes Josie. Josie is like the grit, the sort of ugliness of the city. I think it becomes beautiful if you look at it like from a different lens.
Yeah, I mean, like RIOT was saying, you know, it kind of mirrors, the graffiti mirrors like the city.
Yeah.
You know, and whatever's going on in the city and the vibe of the city.
You would hope that your environment influences you somewhat, because otherwise we will just look like every other graffiti destination. But yeah, I think because we're still quite fresh scene, new scene, we still got a way to go.
What are some of the most interesting conversations or lessons you've taken from interviewing all these artists? You know, and who's been the craziest guy that you've interviewed?
I think all of them are cool because I'm actually like speaking, the guys that I speak to are guys that have been painting generally for quite a while. So you get to know these people that you see their names on the streets. So guys like RIOT BIAS, you know, these are old school graffiti artists that I think, you know, put in a lot of effort and work. I've spoken to guys like Dredder from MSC crew. He's like one of the OG riders. That was really cool.
Jocha.
I've spoken to Jocha, who's also a huge inspiration. So I'm trying to, with the channel, just kind of shed more light on like the graffiti scene, but also the graffiti scene from the past, you know, so like up and coming guys can learn a bit more about the history of the scene.
So you spoke about learning from a lot of artists and their influences on you, and you know, being an individual artist as itself. What crews have you been a part of, and how have they influenced, you know, you at this point in time and how you work?
So I've been lucky enough to paint with some of the older crews, some of the first active kind of crews in the city. I was lucky enough to get put onto DBS, which is an old school graffiti crew, started in the early 90s by a guy called Patch. A few other guys in the crew, but his brother Tech invited me to join the crew. And then we also had guys like Te, who writes Miser today, and we also had another guy called Resin, and who then painted Coma, and we also had Wise, who painted Hate. So it was very nice because we all had different styles, we all pushed each other, we were all friends, And we were active, you know, DBS, we were out there painting every week, bombing. If we weren't painting panels, we were painting chromies somewhere. Train stations was our thing. So that was cool. I think that was really nice. DBS will always have a special place in my heart. And then we kind of evolved from DBS and kind of formed another crew called FUCK, which stands for Fucked Up Kids, and that kind of was led by Miser, another guy, Nade, old school guy. We had myself, if I'm not mistaken, RIOT was part of it as well. We had guys like Curse, Sun One, we had Ecto, we had a bunch of guys, so it grew slowly, and we had guys like Dyer joining in the crew, which was quite cool as well. And FUCK was also an active crew on panels a lot. We really painted a lot of trains together, which was really, really cool. And I'm really grateful for that because, you know, we kind of pushed each other and we all had unique styles.
Through both painting and documenting artists on your channel, what have you learned about graffiti culture and the people behind it that most outsiders don't understand?
That we're not gangsters, we're not criminals, we artists, we practice it as an art form, we take it seriously, we enjoy what we do, we're nice people, we're creative, we're good for businesses, we're trying to make our city a better place. We're not just out here trying to destroy.
If someone watches this interview 10 or 20 years from now, you know, what do you want them to understand about South African graffiti culture and the people who built this culture?
To just try and be a bit more open your eyes to what's happening in the city. I think Joburg is fast becoming a graffiti hotspot internationally. I think we've got artists from all over the world that want to come and paint here. We've got local artists that are pushing it. We're not playing catch up anymore. Joburg is on the map. Guys like Drake are out there putting Joburg on the map. We've got people like Faith. You know, we've got people, all different types of people out here in Joburg doing some quality work. I mean, look at this work by Riot, by Slow. You know, this is international level work, and this is happening right now in your city. And I think, you know, try and be a part of it. Like, don't just be passive. Like, take notice. You know.
Has there been any like cool or crazy stories that you know that you can share with the audience?
I've got one. So, back in my Vandal train painting days, I attempted to go paint a whole car, and you know, I got chased and I got caught, you know, and I ended up getting arrested and going to the police station, the holding cells. But I was covered in blackjacks because I got tackled into a blackjack bush by these security train guards. About 4 of them tackled me in this blackjack bush. I was covered head to toe in blackjacks. Yeah, I rock up in the holding cell, and now I'm shitting bricks. I don't know what's gonna happen. It's full holding cell, a weekend holding cell, so it's fucking full of people. So the next thing, this guy comes up to me, and I thought, oh fuck, here we go, this is it, I need to fight now. Next thing, he comes up to me and he says, bro, would you like me to take all the blackjacks off your jacket for you? Looks like you've had a tough day. Come lie down, here's a blanket. You just need to relax a bit. And the guy literally stood there taking the blackjacks out of my jacket and let me sleep.
Has there been, or were there ever any like unique spots that you favored the most, you know, that were your spots, or like the most prominent spots, the coolest spots?
Yeah, I think back in the day there definitely were some popular spots. There was a spot called Empire Road, which was just up the road, and it's now a police station, head of police, but it used to be, that whole wall was a long legal graffiti wall, and we all painted there. It's a pity it's gone, but that's kind of the legal spot we had, which was always covered. Empire Road, we all painted there. And then there was another one, Mushroom Farm, quite a popular one as well, old school, early 2000s. Today my spots, I just enjoy painting in high visible spots on the streets, really. Yeah.
With your boys.
With my boys, yeah.
That's it. Any shout outs for the audience?
Yeah, first and foremost, I have to give big shout outs to my family, especially my mother. She's the one that kind of pushed me and kind of really supported me. My dad as well, you know, they're the ones that got me out of jail every time I was arrested, and they're the ones paying the bail fines. My sister, you know, I put my family through a lot of shit with this graffiti thing, but they supported me the whole way through it. And yeah, I've got to give a big shout out to my mother. She's the one that drove me around and took me to do my first tags and whatever. So I love you, Mom, and whenever I paint, it's for my mother. And yeah, to my friends and obviously my crewmates, DBS, FUK, my homies over here, Slow, Riot, you know. There's a lot of people to mention, so I'm not going to try and mention everyone, but anyone that I've painted with, anyone that I've sketched with, I just want to say thank you. Shout out to all the active graffiti riders out there pushing the limits and taking risks to paint their names.